Hello, hello, and welcome to my Lunch and Learn, where each and every week we explore topics to help you elevate your mindset, be at your best, and radically expand your life and business. Now, today's topic is amazing because it's all about something that's true and special to my heart. Now, I've been an avid student of personal growth and development for more than 25 years. And over that time, I have come across so many people, from mentors to colleagues to new students of personal growth to experienced students of personal growth. And despite doing the work, one of the things I've realized is so many professional women consume the products. They consume the books, they attend the seminars, they read, or they listen to the podcasts, and they just ingest so much material. And they might even apply it. You might be doing a morning routine, you might be saying positive affirmations, you might be recalibrating at the end of the day. However, what happens with many people is at the end of the day, they still don't feel like they're making the progress they should be. And they still doubt themselves. And they feel like the more they learn, the further behind they feel. So it's like you're out on a treadmill, moving, but actually getting nowhere. And one of the things that I've noticed is they feel like they're looking for this eureka moment. They're looking for this moment where fireworks go off and everything feels good, but they keep chasing it, and that moment never comes. You fall into a when I then I trap. So if you're a growth-oriented woman who's always learning but still feeling stuck, and this might be something that's for you, because all of the work you're doing is good, it is worth it. But what I want to share with you today are some really simple, really practical ways that you can make your personal growth experience so much more rewarding and so much more fulfilling. And when it is, it will be more effective. You'll be able to feel better at the end of the day. You'll have better relationships with your friends, your family, your spouse. You'll be in a position to earn more money because you're in a much better spirit to attract the good you desire. You'll be crushing your goals. You'll be reaching your dreams. However, it all starts with you. And this really is about penetrating deeper and leading you personally to lasting change. So I want to know where you're coming in from. If you're tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. And if it's your first time here, type in first time in the chat, because I sincerely want to thank you and appreciate you for being here. I am so grateful for your presence. Now, some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Larisa Makuch, Canada's leading abundance mentor. And we work with professional women that have beautiful lives and are interested in personal growth and development, but they still want more out of life. You have a good life, but you still want more. What we do is we help them bridge the gap between dreaming and doing so they can have a life and business that they want and truly love. Now, when I began my personal growth journey, I was in a place of desperation. I was working in the personal finance space, selling insurance and investment products to people 2 and 3 times my age. I loved the work, loved the products, and I believed in what we did, but I didn't know how to talk to people, and I wasn't comfortable with myself. And so I went searching because I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like how it felt. I knew there was something missing. And so I went searching in books, on audio cassettes. So I had a cassette player in my car, if you remember what those are. I used to go to seminars and any conferences I could get my hands on. And over time, things gradually started getting better. Now, 20 years into this journey, I realized there was still a big piece of the puzzle missing. Because even though I had learned a lot, I had stuffed a lot of things into my head, I'd made improvements, but I didn't feel worthy of the success I desired. I didn't feel successful. I had scarcity thinking. I was trapped in that scarcity mindset. And truthfully, that really scared me because I poured so much of myself into this work, and it was really disheartening. And it wasn't until I actually went deep and really learned how to study, not just consume material, but truly learn how it works and integrate it into my life in powerful ways, that it actually made the inner feelings begin to match my outer desires. for real, where I could feel comfortable in my skin, where I could have conversations with different types of people and know that I know that I know that I know that I know, to whether things were working out for me or not, to still keep moving forward with confidence, with grace, with authenticity, with integrity. And even if I didn't see all the results in front of me in that moment, to have the faith that they were actually coming to me, not pretend to have the faith and not just go, oh, yeah, I believe it, and really not feel good, but have that deep inner knowing that the good I desire is on its way. And these were things I read about. I heard people talk about them, and I'm like, great idea. I love that idea, but why isn't it working for me? And so when I went deep, all of that changed. And so let's take a look at what personal growth actually is. Personal growth is this ongoing process. This is a lifelong process of developing yourself. And it encompasses areas like mental, physical, emotional, social skills, with the aim of being a better version of yourself and truly enriching all aspects of life. And when you enrich these aspects of life, it can increase all of this work can lead to increased self-awareness, to improved decision-making, to greater resilience, and enhancing your overall well-being. So this idea of personal growth and development has ancient roots in the philosophical space, with ancient philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle, in arenas like Buddhism and Confucianism. And it's evolved over time into really a structured self-help movement in this 20th century. And what happened was key thinkers like Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill popularized the idea of achieving success through personal growth and positive thinking. And at the turn of the century, that was absolutely massive. So what is required, right? When you want to not just do personal growth, but really do it, when you want to truly align with who you are and where you're going, there are 5 things that I want you to be aware of that are simple, they're obvious. Once you think about them and notice them, you'll be like, of course, that just totally makes sense. However, I promise you, these are often so simple, they're overlooked, they're dismissed, and they tend not to be practiced consistently. And so my intention here is to open your eyes and give you a wake-up call so that you can have the power. And perhaps I might even need to give you the permission to actually follow through on your personal growth experience and get even so much more out of it. Now, these practices, again, they're simple, but we practice them with our clients each and every day, and we focus on mastering them. In fact, we're holding a free event in our abundance community, the Morning Magic Challenge, happening right now. We hold a lot of different events throughout the year. Right now, our community, our greater community, is invited to join my actual client base for a week for a free experience to see how we do our morning routine and how we make these concepts I'm about to share with you come alive. Now, like I said, it's not a one and done. However, the more you practice them, the more easy and more natural they get. And I'm going to use the word natural very deliberately. When things become natural, you just start to do them and you don't have to think or overthink about them. So the first thing, tip number 1, is less is more. Don't try and do it all at once. If you've been in this industry and if you've studied this personal growth world, you probably have a massive toolbox. You've learned a lot of things. You've studied so many different concepts. And you might be the kind of person that's like, well, if I have my morning routine, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to meditate, and I have to visualize, and I have to review my goals, and I have to do affirmations, and I've got to do these 5 journaling prompts, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. And you have like 20 things you're trying to do in as fast a period of time, and you're never able to get them all done. You don't keep up. And if you don't have 3 to 6 hours a day, you feel terrible because you're not doing it right, because you're trying to do it all and it's just not working. The fact is, you only have so much time and so much capacity to be able to do this work. And so It is better to have perhaps a shorter experience, or a more focused experience where you pick and choose, and you are fully present with the one thing you're doing in that moment. Where instead of 10 things, you might do 1, 2, or 3 things at most, and you fully immerse yourself in that experience, because it will give you that space. And you can't be focused on 20 things at once. Multitasking is a myth. Multitasking does not work. And when you try to do too much, you're just not going to do a good job, because you're going to be spread too thin. Now, second thing, mix it up. Have structure and flow. So this is a coffee mug or a tea mug. I have tea in here right now. So this is a structured container. Inside this container, I have tea. My husband likes to put coffee in his thermos containers. We have other kinds of beverages. Sometimes I'll put a smoothie, probably not in this container, but in my other container, I might put a smoothie. I could put different kinds of liquid in a container, lemon water, for example. And so what's important is when you do your personal growth and development, you make a commitment to do certain things. Maybe it's have a morning routine. Maybe every day you read for 30 minutes. Maybe 2 times a week you join a study group, and you mastermind, or you work and you get your hands dirty with other people and really think about different concepts. Perhaps you want to learn a new skill. So once or twice a week, you might go and do that skill. But what you want is you want to have some structure. Perhaps morning, noon, and night, you check in with yourself. Okay, those are some different ideas. But you want to create a structure, and what you can do in that structure can vary. Okay, so if you're a morning routine person, you might have a menu of 10, maybe even 15 things that you like to do. And over the course of a week or two, you mix and match them, mix and match them, mix and match them. Maybe there are affirmations and you're really into affirmations. So you might stick with a series of affirmations for a week or 2 weeks or even 3 months. But then you might outgrow them. So what do? You mix them up and you change the affirmations. You might write them one day. You might read them another day. You might speak them another day. You could record them and listen to yourself saying them. So there are different ways that you can use the same tools. There are different tools you can use on different days. But what's important is that you give yourself permission to play. Give yourself permission to not force yourself to do things exactly the right way. Change your approach to them, and you're going to start noticing and learning things about yourself when you give yourself the space and grace, but you also have the structure to stay consistent. Okay, so you want to have some kind of consistent timing or some kind of consistent structure or something consistent with your personal growth commitment, and then have other things that are much more flexible. It'll be entertaining, it'll be stimulating, and you'll also be able to access different parts of your brain because you're using different tools in different ways. Hope that makes sense. And if you guys have any questions about any of this, just put them in the chat. We are happy to answer them. So third thing, take your time. Okay, don't rush through things. Maybe one day you intended to read an entire chapter, let's say, of a book. And I want to just share an experience that I went through with my clients. One day on our morning calls, probably about a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, I had intended to read through an entire chapter. And that call, we literally got through the first paragraph. We spent an hour dissecting the words, dissecting the meanings, applying what that paragraph said to our lives. And even though we only read one paragraph, we took our time. And every single person on that call was flying high. Why? Because that paragraph meant something. We weren't rushing through it. The plan was to do more. However, it was necessary in that moment to take our time, to savor the moment, and to sink our teeth in. And it's better to get it done, better to do something with high quality than just rush through it. So do things well, do things fully and completely, whatever that level is to you. It's not the case every single day, but in that moment, we needed to take a little extra time to get through that same content. Why? Because there was a need for us to connect to a deeper meaning. And if we rushed through it, we would have missed the nuances. Thing number 4, easy for her to say. Step number 4. So tip number 4, change your perspective. Now, there is a book called Think and Grow Rich. And I'm looking at the title of this book, and this is an amazing, amazing book. And I know I can see it, but I also know that you can't see it because you're not looking at the same thing I am. I was looking at the cover versus the back. And when you're looking at things from one perspective versus another, you see things very differently, and you can experience them very differently, because here I'm looking at gold, beautiful writing on this hardcover book. And logically right now, I know you don't see it. But if you look at this writing and I'm looking at a blank canvas, we have two very different perspectives. Now, one of the things that's really, really incredibly powerful is to change your perspective of a situation. So perhaps you look at things through your own eyes, and we call that associated, where you're in your body, you imagine things. Like if you're looking at your hands, you can just look at your hands as though you are you looking through your own eyes. You can have really high and intense feelings when you're in this state, and this is you experiencing your life in a present way. You can really truly be present when you're in your own body. Okay, associated is in your own body. Another perspective, and we did this exercise this morning on our morning calls, is a dissociated perspective, where you're outside of your body, where you might imagine removing yourself from your body, and it's like you are looking at yourself. And there are benefits, because sometimes when you step outside of yourself, you notice a lot of things that you might not notice when you're looking through your own eyes. You might be able to see things around yourself that you would normally overlook because you've got tunnel vision. You might be able to broaden your perspectives. You also are able to reduce emotional intensity. So let's say you're really emotionally distraught about something in your body. When you remove yourself from your body and step outside your body, you cannot have that same highly emotional reaction because you are out of the picture. Okay, so there's a lot of benefits to looking at things from different perspectives. And a lot of times we may actually feel like an outsider in our own world, and we may live a big part of our lives as this outsider or out of our body, because we don't know how to feel, or maybe we're afraid of feeling. And what's really important is that you practice both perspectives, and you practice looking at things from different perspectives, because when you do, you will start to learn more about yourself, more about your world, more about other people, and broaden your horizons. Last but not least, be intentional. Okay. Setting intentions is really huge in the world of personal growth and development. However, what I notice is so often you might just turn on a podcast. You might just open a book. You might be like, oh, time's on for my morning routine. Let me just sit down and get it done. If you're joining our morning calls, maybe it's like, oh, click join now. Let me get it on. And you're coming and you have all this outside influence inundating your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, and different aspects of you. And when you're truly intentional, when you take a second to pause, take a second to breathe, you can be present with what you're doing. And you're not just mindlessly stepping into this personal growth practice. And you're not just mindlessly stepping away when you end. Really being present and being intentional and deciding maybe today you want to focus on enjoying the work that you're doing. Maybe another day you want to get connected with yourself. Perhaps another day you feel lost and you need answers and you want to find those answers. Another day you might want tools or the ability to focus or to be even more creative. So whatever that intention is for you, it's important that you take a second to pause, and before you jump into doing any personal growth work, you think, why do I even care right now? Why am I even doing this? What about today? What about this practice right here, right now is important to me? Why do I give a shit? And if you can answer that question, all of a sudden it can start radically changing your life and your experience. So these are some really simple seeming things. However, I promise you, if you do them and you do them wholeheartedly, it will make a massive difference in your life. Less is more. Mix it up, have some structure and flow. Take your time, right? Do things well, do them fully and completely. Change your perspectives, look at things from different perspectives, and be intentional. So, simple. I'd love to know which of these you might be practicing or which of these you want to start incorporating into your life, into your world, into your personal growth practice. And if you want to see these examples, see these techniques come alive, we're literally doing them each and every day in the Morning Magic Challenge. We're already a few days in, but this challenge lasts the entire week and we do have replays available. So just mention magic in the chat and my team will help set you up so you can join us, you can get registered, you can catch up on replays, or you can just join us from where you're at, because this work will help you jumpstart your day in a powerful way. And what we're doing is each and every morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, we are meeting to go through a morning practice where you will rewire your mindset first thing each day, where you will train your entire nervous system to show up with certainty, and where you're going to replace this reactivity with rituals that actually lead to results, including all of the things that I just talked about today. It is embedded in the system. So, like I said, it's happened. We're halfway through the challenge. We've still got several more days to go, but you can absolutely join us live. You can catch up by replay. All you've got to do is drop magic in the chat and we will send you the link and get you set up. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me. I hope to see you in our Morning Magic Challenge, joining our community, elevating yourself, elevating your life, elevating your personal growth practice. So with that, goodbye for now, and I'll be back again next week with another wonderful